Welcome back, everybody. Let's talk openly. Lions are Dharma Center's podcast. My name's Jack. I'm here with Daniel, my excellent friend. Hi,
Hi, Jack. Hi, Talk Openly,
Daniel.
listeners, viewers.
Yeah, good to be with you all together in some kind of sense. Um, yeah, it's a touchstone for me.
Indeed, indeed. It has been a
Yeah.
touchstone for a few years now.
I know, isn't that incredible? So for one, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Um, and yeah, that is interesting to think. It's been several years with the two of us. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I was just reflecting on it the other day how I used to before I was invited to join you here on the show. Um I remember you being on the show with our friend Kathy and how I would always do the dishes. And it was like my time to do the dishes and listen to talk openly. Uh,
Yeah,
I
that's
enjoyed
really
that.
sweet.
I enjoyed that so much. And so, I hope other people get to do their dishes while they're listening to us.
I hope so too. Yeah, please,
Yeah.
please do your dishes, do your laundry, whatever it is you need to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Take care of yourself. Um, well, yeah, tonight, Daniel, I wanted to talk a little bit about managing stress in times of change. Because I'm sure as anybody who even slightly keeps abreast of the news, has probably been a little bit stressed out lately, um, especially in the last few days. Um, but also, we'll be talking about not just kind of like big global kind of political changes, but just changes in our everyday lives. I'm definitely in a possible big transition with a job. So I want to talk about that a little bit and how that's affecting me and how I'm um, bringing bringing it to my practice. So yeah, hopefully you can help a little bit with my kind of stress
Yeah, I'm
in
sure
times
that
of
we
change.
we'll walk each other home to the stress-free existence.
Oh, I don't know if that's possible, but
Severely reduced
yes.
stress existence.
Manageable, right? Managing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
make it. Well, you know what? Here's my promise to you, Jack.
Okay.
At the end of this show, you will feel less stressed.
I think that's true. I
No, no,
think
it's a promise. I'm
yeah.
actually, I guarantee it, or your
Yeah,
money
yeah,
back.
yeah. No, I think you're right. It is a guarantee. It
It's a
happens every time.
promise. That's what
So
I'm saying. I already
yeah.
know. I know this. I promise. So, like I
Yeah.
said, though, give you your money back if it doesn't work.
Yeah. Good, good. Thanks. Yeah, perfect. Well, yeah, before we get into that, let's check in a little bit. What's
Do a little
going on with
check-in.
you?
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah. What's
yeah,
your
yeah.
practice? What's your world like?
I want to tell you about something that happened. I was on a walk last Friday with a friend from the Dharma Center who is training to become a chaplain and
Great.
and has been doing some chaplaincy work already as part of that training. And he was telling me about a patient who was dying and who with whom he sat with him and um, the the patient's name was Jim, and Jim, one of the instructions to my friend was to uh, to keep Jim's playlist going.
Hmm.
So he had a playlist that was called Jim's Last Hurrah.
Oh, wow.
Okay, and so he's telling me, he's like, yeah, so he had this playlist, and like I was just kind of like whatever mentions it to me, and I was like, hey, will you share it with me? And he's like, yeah. So he sent me a link to the playlist, and I spent like the whole day just listening to that. Like I had it just playing the whole
Oh,
time,
wow.
right? And while I was listening to it, I was reminding myself or imagining that I was like, I am someone like Jim who is right on the cusp of death, about to
Yes.
make a major transition. And I'm listening to this music with a dying man's ears, right?
Mm,
And what was really amazing about it, Jack, was that even even the just normal songs that harkened back to his youth, there were some Beatles and some,
mm,
just whatever. Even those songs, first of all, the way they were chosen certainly was quite deliberate, right? It wasn't just
mhm,
any song, right? But it had all these different artists, all different kinds of music in there. And there was there was this sweetness to it, which
mm,
I found really surprising. The more that I listened to it, the more that I imagined myself being Jim or being like Jim, the more that I like kind of got comfortable, right? Where I was just like, right, yeah. It's just like so many other things in life where it's a major journey, a major transition, maybe only happens once, but we can prepare for it just like we do for other things. And that includes like if you're going to take a trip, maybe you make a playlist,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, yeah. And then as I was listening, it normalized it. It made it feel very like because I just stayed all day in this sort of mindset of like, right, yeah, like I'm almost like I might have hours or a couple days or something like that, but that's it. And the words in the song, the
Mm,
lyrics, the way the
yeah.
singers sang, the way the music was played, it was like I'd never heard these songs before. It was like so beautiful,
Oh,
right?
wow.
And I was like, I was like, yeah, that is an excellent death, and dying meditation, which I've been interested in. So it was kind of unexpected, but at the
Yeah.
same time, it was a really wonderful death and dying meditation. And that evening, I did a more formal meditation, and I was expecting it to be about death and dying.
Mm.
The longer I sat, though, in true sort of Tibetan fashion, uh, the more that it became about life and living, right?
Hmm.
Because there really isn't anything to be said about death. You
We
know,
don't know. Yeah. We just
there's
don't
not,
know.
so the only thing you can really, relate to, the only thing you can imagine, the only thing you can think about really is the living portion of it.
Right.
So it
Well, and
was
I
quite,
know real quick
yeah,
the title of one of Pema Chodron's book is "How We Live is How We Die."
yeah, exactly.
So it's like anything about death is going to be about living as well.
That's the only thing it's ever really
Yeah.
about, right?
Yeah.
Or becoming living again.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what I think is so funny. Every book, every sort of like Tibetan Buddhist book or teaching that I've ever heard on death and dying inevitably is about life and living. And so I thought it was kind of funny, but it was deeply comforting and also I don't know, not just comforting, but kind of healing on a level that I didn't know that I needed or wanted or even thought about in the sense of really I think I don't have like the words really to describe this, but I'll do my best, which is to say that I felt like I really kind of touched on like the sort of the essence, the loving essence of life itself, right? And the way in which it appears in all of these different beings, in all these different forms, right? In human form, animal form, all these different forms, and that this force, this energy, this spirit, this something, we lack the words for it, but that was what I like tapped into, but
Mm.
in a way that I don't think I've ever really been able to do before. And I think it had everything to do with Jim's big, her last hurrah.
Wow.
Yeah,
What a lovely intimacy with a stranger, right?
that's
And it
right.
just goes to show that like, our connectedness and I just think that's really beautiful. Um,
I was sharing one of the songs. So I did discover some songs, some music that I had never heard before
uh-huh.
that were just like, oh, they just got me, And I was like, oh my God, these are beautiful. And then today I went to go pick up my daughter. She was having a hard day and had a hard time getting to school. So I went to go pick her up to take her to school. And she was just having a rough day. And I said, hey, you know what? Like while we're driving to school, let's listen to these songs. They
Mhm.
were so calm and so good and so, touching. And then, after the songs played, I was like, and I told her that it was Jim's last hurrah. I told her the story. And then I was like, isn't it amazing that I never met Jim? I don't know what Jim looks like. I don't
Mm.
know. I don't have any story about him. All I have is the fact that he made a playlist, a going out of this world playlist, and that it was shared with me, and now my life is influenced by this, and so is yours,
Yeah.
right? And that's Jim is doing that,
Yeah.
right? Those are his ripples. Those are, even though his body is no longer here and alive, his ripple, the effect of his existence on this planet continues to ripple, right? And I said, it's amazing. It's just like when we think about Buddha being alive 2,500 years ago or whatever, right? And that he's still rippling his vibrations. He vibrated in such a positive way that those ripples just continued and continued and are affecting us still to this day.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing. Yeah.
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 So thank
Oh,
you, Jim.
Jim.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Jim.
Jim.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know we talked last week about death and impermanence, and uh, yeah, that kind of wakefulness that happens when really considering death. Um, and it sounds like, maybe some of your experience was like a real kind of like freshness to the experience of listening to music and like,
Yeah.
oh, there's like a new aliveness there.
Yes.
So
Yes.
interesting, right? But it's
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
and to think about that, like, can I greet this anytime with that same kind of presence and almost like commitment to it, you know?
Yes. No, that's exactly it. See, now you're getting, thank you. We're putting words to all of it.
Um,
That alive, that's what I was trying to say is that it touched upon this aliveness, right?
yeah.
I oftentimes think of like wakefulness, right? I think of the Buddha, the awakened one, right? And I'm like, okay, awakening, sure. Awakening to what? To life, right? And and it's fascinating because in meditation, we kind of are trying to land on something solid. We can't. We're trying to describe it with words. We can't. But the feel, I'm like, oh, it's right. It's so subtle. It's humming, and it's right there in my whole body, and it's right there. I can actually. It was weird. You know how like when people say like namaste, how that means like the light in me sees the light in you, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had this when I was meditating, I had this overwhelming feeling of just like, ah, that thing, it's not a thing, but this
Yeah.
presence, this aliveness, this wakefulness is shared universally. And
Yeah.
it really connected me in a way that I've never felt that connection before, right? With other,
Mm.
well, like I can conceptually, I can do it intellectually,
Right.
right? But this was a like a felt I could like feel it. I was like, oh, no, no. I was petting my dog and I was like, oh my goodness. Oh. What am
Yeah.
I? Like look at
Yeah.
this. Oh, I'm touching aliveness, right? And the interesting thing is how compassion, tenderness, a desire to help, to be of benefit, it's clear to see how that's a natural consequence of being alive, right? Of being really wakefully alive,
Yeah.
right? Is like
Absolutely.
it was like I could see it was there was no need to force it. There was no need to sort of, try to manufacture it in any way. It was just a clear, obvious, like, well, duh, right? In the same way that I care about like it just felt I could feel it.
Yeah.
Freaking
Yeah.
beautiful. Isn't
Wow.
that cool?
A real kind of love.
Yeah,
loving.
it really, truly,
Yeah.
I was like, now I get it when people talk about like, that life is love or that love is everything. And and
Uh-huh.
I've always been like, nah, you I'm not so
Okay.
sure I buy into that, but I was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
yeah, love is what it is, right? And
Yeah.
it's life and it's love, and it's fascinating because as I was doing it, I was realizing, I was like, yeah, I can see how this one aliveness, this one wakefulness, this one whatever you want to call it, how it really is very similar to light. And how that it can be manifested in all these different colors and forms, right? But that
Mhm.
it's just one light. And it was so like all of these things that I've thought, I've read, I've thought, I've whatever, like it's all up in here. And I'm like, yeah, yeah, I could talk it all day long. But I was like, whoa, I can feel
Yeah.
it.
Oh, good. Oh, that's really just
Yeah.
such a sweet story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah. Wow. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm so glad I got to share it because it was meaningful to me, quite touching.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
sometimes, I don't know about you, but sometimes I'll have these like meditative experiences and then they like evaporate within 20, 30 minutes. You know what I mean? Like it
Sure.
just kind of like it feels really important in the moment and then it just sort of like dissipates. I
Hmm.
kind of forget about it. But this particular thing has been staying like even while I'm asleep, I mean like it's still there.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
yeah, pretty important. Yeah.
Very cool. Okay.
So
Well,
anyway, yeah, that was
yeah. Jim. Thanks, Jim.
thanks, Jim. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I think, generally speaking, I would say that life and meditation practice is exactly where it should be. So
Yeah.
no complaints from me. I think Daniel could do a little bit of a better job with consistency.
Mm,
I think he could do a little bit better with that, but other than that, it's okay.
yeah. Yeah. That's where it's at.
That's where it's at. Yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway, that's me. Now, what
Yeah.
about you? Tell me, talk to me.
Yeah, I'm
Life
doing
changes, work,
life
practice, all
changes,
kinds of stuff.
all the things. Yeah, it's yeah, my feathers are a little bit ruffled by it, but I'm okay. Um
What happened?
but yeah, I'll share a little bit of that, but I did just want to say that my my practice itself has been just kind of easygoing. I think I'm
Sounds
just
like that's what's needed.
yeah, I am just kind of easygoing. Um Talked with a lovely person last night who uh is might be my therapist. It's kind of it's an interesting situation, but really lovely man. Has been practicing Buddhism for about 30 years as well as psychotherapy for about 30 years. And we just had this wonderful conversation about merit, like a merit accumulation, but also yeah, kind of like the allowing of like the tantric kind of allowing of the experience. And um it was just really nice to connect with someone. I feel like I haven't been able to do that very much up here yet.
Yeah.
And so just to have someone to talk to
Oh,
about the dharmas was so nice. And it really reminded me of Sangha. Um, and so that was really, really sweet. And gave me a little bit of motivation, like, oh yeah, right. This is kind of why I'm doing this, right? Is uh yeah, everything that this training gives me that I was so excited to be able to talk with someone else about. And I was like, oh yeah, well, I'm gonna go keep doing it, right?
yeah.
So it kind of added a little bit more
Little,
enthusiasm.
a little wind beneath your wings.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. It
Um,
unruffled a few feathers.
yeah, 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 for sure. Yes, it did. It really did. Yeah. Um, yeah, and I also did kind of a death meditation after our last show, did the 9 point death meditation that we had talked about. Um, very interesting, um, very interesting meditation. And just I continue to recommend it completely to
Yep.
people.
Yep.
Um, But yeah, my kind of like surface level life, and my job has been a little bit frustrating, in terms of the organization itself is not doing well financially. It's had a lot of problems and has been for over a decade. It's a public hospital, hasn't been run very well. Um, and my boss told me a few weeks ago, like, you're not getting a raise. You're not even a cost of living adjustment. Um, and so I just, I told her, like, based off of what my needs are right now, like, I'm trying to buy a house, like all these things, I might need to start looking for something else. Um, and I didn't think it was going to happen this fast. I kind of thought, like, I'm just going to start looking around, just seeing what's out there, not even necessarily make a change. Because I do actually love the work that I do. That's one thing.
Yeah, clear.
I don't know if you can tell,
Yeah.
I'm kind of ambivalent right now. Like, I'm not necessarily excited.
No,
Um,
no, I could tell. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's almost like, how things just kind of fall into place sometimes. And where it's like, okay, if it was that easy, you know, maybe this is like a karmic thing and just kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
go with it. Um, maybe, I don't know, that could be an interesting thing to explore. Yeah, because maybe that's not true.
Well, I
Or
mean,
maybe all the
yeah.
time.
I mean, I don't, yeah. Well, anyway,
Yeah,
keep.
yeah, 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 yeah. Um, But the first day that I, had those thoughts percolating, I went online and looked at what was available in the area, and there had where was a posting that had just been posted for this community mental health agency in the same town that I work in. Pay is very good, lots of good benefits, that I'm not getting at my current job. Um, and a lot of support in general, just as like a clinician, like they really seem to, you know, value the work that we do and want to invest in their clinicians. And so, um, overall, the vibe felt very good. And I went in, I had an interview, went very well, had some email discussion between, uh, myself and the manager, um, and it sounds like I'm being offered the job. Um, and yeah, it just feels weird, right? Like,
Yeah.
it feels
Yeah.
bizarre to be making a big change right now. Like, I wasn't necessarily thinking about it until a few weeks ago. Um, well, not necessarily. There's been there's definitely with my current job, Olympic Medical, not to like throw shade, but there's some ways that there's like a culture clash with me and the organization, and that's okay to have that. But I think it's possible that there could be a better fit for me elsewhere. So I have been thinking about it, but um yeah, there's just this kind of
Yeah.
like
Well,
feeling of like, ooh, I don't know if I'm ready to make that leap again. That kind of like, and also some grief too. Like
that's what I was gonna say. I think it
yeah,
feels like a little bit of this. There's this sense of sadness that's
yeah,
involved here because of like you have connections, you have, there all the things that were something that has been stable in our lives for better or worse, right?
hmm
Right. And they're not bad or anything. Like you said, there's been challenges, but that's in every workplace, right? And
hmm
so it's not necessarily like the worst place ever and you hate it and you
right,
have to leave. And
right,
so there's this weird sort of feeling of like, but this is part of like who and what I am. This is like the community and these people that I see every day. And then the idea, the concept of changing all of that, it naturally invokes or provokes some feeling of stress, right? Of some
yeah,
kind of like worry, like about who you are, what about them, and
yeah,
like what if? So
right,
yeah, of course you're
right,
feeling that.
for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't know if we want to jump into the stress discussion yet. Maybe we could save it for after Lojong. But um, meditation, of course, has been very helpful. And maybe I can talk more about it.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I think so.
Yeah.
I also think that I wouldn't mind if we can maybe touch on during the conversation about stress, see if maybe Tara Brach's rain method uh
Oh,
might not be helpful for this exact situation.
yeah. I love that. That'd be great.
Wouldn't that be nice? I
Yeah,
don't think
let's
we've
do
talked
that
about it a lot, but I find it really helpful, and
for
maybe
sure.
that'd be good for you and for other people listening.
Yeah, definitely. Okay,
Cool.
cool.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
nice. So I just wanted to say I'm so proud of you to take for taking it gentle on the when it comes to your training, right?
Mm,
Like to recognize like, hey, right now I don't need to push myself. I'm not trying to like achieve some grand thing right now. I'm just stabilizing my mind so that I can make good decisions.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Well, we've talked about it so much about how sometimes like we our minds will turn the practice and the training and everything into this almost like a weapon against ourselves. We're gonna mold ourselves in a new enlightened image or something, right? And that's detrimental. It's not what we're trying to actually do.
Not
So,
trying to do that. Yeah,
no, yeah.
no, no.
I
Gotta be
love I love the
careful.
softness. It's so nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for
Ah,
sure. Yeah, no need to go in hard. Like I think that was one thing that my practice has been really helpful with is I don't need to have my defenses up,
no.
right? Like, I don't have to be worried about what other people are gonna think. Because it really doesn't matter, but also why not just be kind and compassionate to others, during this transition? I don't have to defend myself or my decisions.
No.
Um,
No.
so yeah, that's been really helpful.
Nice.
Just be
Nice.
nice.
Yeah, excellent. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. That's good. This is
I love that Lama has that idea of a clothing company where it's isn't it like be kind or
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It is
wear kindness.
wear kindness, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
it.
That's with ourselves and with everybody else.
Right. Yeah. Why not? Really.
Definitely makes things better. All right. We're gonna jump into Lojong, right?
Yeah, please. That'd be
Okay.
great.
Okay. Here we go.
Mm.
Hmm.
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 Okay, this could be helpful. Yeah. 52. Avoid misunderstandings. Choyam Trungpa says there are 6 things that you may twist or misinterpret in your practice: patience, yearning, excitement, compassion, priorities, and joy. It is a misinterpretation of patience to be patient about everything in your life, but the practice of Dharma. Misinterpreted yearning is to foster yearning for pleasure and wealth, but not to encourage the yearning to practice Dharma thoroughly and properly. Misinterpreted excitement is to get excited by wealth and entertainment, but not to be excited by the study of Dharma. It is twisted compassion to be compassionate to those who endure hardships in order to practice Dharma, but to be unconcerned and uncompassionate to those who do evil. Twisted priorities means to work diligently out of self-interest at that which benefits you in the world, but not to practice Dharma. Twisted joy is to be happy when sorrow afflicts your enemies, but not to rejoice in virtue and in the joy of transcending samsara. You should absolutely and completely stop all 6 of those misinterpretations.
Preach, brother Trungpa.
Yeah, yeah, those are cutting, huh?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I think the part
mhm.
that the part that I like about this is actually the slogan itself. Because one thing that I've noticed in my training is that I do in fact have a lot of misunderstandings, right? And a lot of times the misunderstanding is not, I'm not just saying like doctrine or, nothing like that. Of course, I have lots of misunderstanding in that area, but I just mean like in terms of what arises,
Mm,
right? And that basically like to me it feels like there's oftentimes like a misunderstanding about what's being what's needed and what's being communicated in the moment, right? And I think
Mm.
that that's actually one of the reasons why I'm excited or interested in maybe talking about this rain thing is that what I've noticed is that um, like it's important for me anyway to slow it down a little bit, right? And to really like stop and be like, wait, is what's arising, does it actually mean that? Or what is actually coming through right now? Slowing down and really trying to listen to it. I know it's not exactly what Trungpa is saying here, but it does feel like within my practice that I do sometimes like, or actually quite frequently, misunderstand like certain like energetic states or feelings, or I'm not quite how to describe it, but when I sit with it a little bit longer and really take an active, curious interest in it, then it reveals the misunderstanding clears up into something a little bit clearer. Anyway, I don't know if that
Yeah.
makes sense or not.
Yeah, no, definitely. Um, yeah, this is a really powerful passage. And it's really I've been really this is what I've been meditating on with um the possible job change. Is like, well, why?
Yeah.
Why, why would I do this? Is it because I want more wealth? Sure, that is part of it. But it's also, I'm trying to, for one, stabilize my life more, um, develop some roots here, have a home, um, where I can do, consistent practice rather than be kind of bouncing about with rentals. So I did have to stop and pause though, really, and think like, is this worth the money, right? Or is the money worth it, basically? And am I just kind of like getting it twisted, really? Um, and so I've definitely been thinking about this, like, yeah, what do you really want? Um,
And maybe understanding correctly your own motivation and intention through such examination, right?
mhm, mhm.
Be yeah, exactly. Like that's kind of what I was trying to say, right? Is that we oftentimes kind of misunderstand even what's happening inside of us, right?
Yeah, for
And
sure.
that sitting with it, like you're talking about, really examining, being like, what am I trying to do here? Why would I do this? Why would I not do this? Right?
Mm.
Am I going to harm others? Am I going to harm myself? What are basically one of those SWOT analysis, maybe,
Yeah, sure.
the
Mhm.
pros and the cons, really sitting with it. I mean, at the end of the day, I think that um, our clear mind and stability should foster this type of ability to analyze a situation like the one that you're in
Mhm.
and to arrive at a relatively correct understanding of yourself and what you're doing and why you're doing it or not doing it, as whichever way it goes. But the path towards wherever you're going is clearer when you sit with it like that.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
And the other part is so easy to twist things. When there's situations like this, it's so easy for our mind to be like, let's just say that deep inside you're like, yeah, more money. I really want that. It'd be easy for you to be like, oh, my current job sucks so bad, and I have all this
Mm,
trouble. I've always had trouble with these people at my work, and
just go
they,
extreme.
exactly, they don't appreciate me, and these other people do appreciate me. No, not like maybe not, right?
Yeah,
Like it's
yeah,
easy to blow things out of
that's true.
proportion. Yeah.
Mhm. For sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know which one I hope that we would get a bit for the
Huh.
conversation tonight was your favorite.
Which one's my favorite?
Which one do you think I
Do you
think is your
remember?
favorite?
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. If we're talking about uh stress,
Ooh.
managing stress.
No, no. I was just which one I think whichever okay, the one I think I that is
I
your
think it's
favorite.
my favorite.
The one that you seem to talk about a decent amount, and I believe you
Oh,
even
don't
said,
expect don't expect applause?
no,
No?
no, 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 drive all blames into one.
Oh, uh-huh.
Yeah, so
Yeah, that is a good
I,
one.
I was kind of hoping for that, but it's okay. We'll get that next time, I'm sure.
Ooh,
Chala.
nice.
Who is a chala?
I know the name. They're definitely a
Okay.
wrathful deity. Um,
Hmm.
but I'm not super,
Isn't a chala the one that's in the dojo? It is, isn't it?
might be.
You know, like the big,
The
it's
big
a,
blue one?
yeah, isn't
The
that
big
a
blue.
chala? I think it is.
Yeah. It maybe goes by a few different names, I would imagine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Huh. I'm pretty sure it is. I'm pretty sure it's the protector in the dojo. So.
I wish that you could actually turn the camera in the temple
Oh,
where,
right.
where you are not actually.
I wish I was actually at the temple right now.
Yeah. It is nice to be there though, and uh even if just an image.
Yeah, it's so special. I've been thinking about you actually a lot when I go to the temple. I feel bad
Hmm.
for you that that the Zoom stuff is not working.
Yeah, that has been hard.
It
Um
feels like I imagine that it feels like, like you already have just this like tendril connection, right?
mhm.
And then to have that sort of not there, it feels like I don't know. I like when I see that you're not there, like there's nobody on Zoom, then I kind of feel like I don't know. I have this like little sad feeling where I'm like,
Yeah.
well, my friends are missing out.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that is, I mean, yeah, thanks for asking. It is definitely a thing. I definitely miss the temple.
Yeah.
Um,
Dude,
and
can you if I went into the temple with a jar
yeah.
and I just closed up the smell and sent you the jar, you think that when you opened the jar and smelled it, do you think that you would smell the temple?
Maybe
It has a distinct,
it does.
it's a distinct smell,
Yeah,
right?
it definitely does. I can sense it.
Yeah, like when I walk in, I'm like, whoop, there it is. It's
Yeah,
like this familiar, I don't know, I can't describe it, but it's such a comforting, familiar like smell.
it is for
Yeah.
sure.
I wish you could have
Um,
been there on Sunday. We had a refuge ceremony.
that's
So
right.
we had three refugees and one person entering the path. Um,
Right.
and I thought it was so cool. Lama, he, man, his teaching on that day was so on point and it hit me so
Mhm.
hard. It was beautiful. He says, basically that to summarize it, he says, like you guys realize like we're making all this stuff up.
Yeah, we're making it all up.
We're just making it all up.
Yeah.
And I was like, how dare you? You're not supposed to say that. This is supposed to be real and true and that's so on and he went on about it, like it was actually the basic gist of the talk. He was like, man, I love it when people, for example, he was talking about one refugee, they were going to take refuge, and then on the day of they show up and then they walk up there and he says, are you know what you're doing, you sure you want to do this? And the person said, no, I don't think I want to do it. And he
Yeah.
said that was the best thing. And he said when people come in and they have like an exit interview with him and they tell him like, "Hey, thanks, but no, no, I don't think I'm not gonna do this anymore." He's
Yeah.
like, he just thinks that's the bee's knees, just the coolest
Yeah.
thing.
I mean, that takes a lot of clarity, like
Yeah,
clarity of mind and courage even,
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
But it was just so cool because I was like, "That's right, we are making this up."
You're making it up.
And I like it. I like to be. This is like part of my like the whatever my community. Like I was thinking about you, like like some kids I know, like they do role playing together, and
Sure.
and I'm like,
LARPing.
this is us. Yeah, what's that?
LARPing.
Yeah, yeah, we're LARPing. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, exactly. But it was so refreshing because I remember taking refuge and how serious it felt and how
Yes, yes.
solid it felt and how this is oh. I'm doing this thing, and it was so emotional, and it had all this energy to it, right? And then and I remember that he's just like, on that very day, these refugees standing there about to do this thing that's so important. And he's just like, yeah, we're just making this stuff up.
Yeah.
You could
Yeah,
choose to do it or not do it. And every day, you can choose to not do it or do it.
for sure. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, it was phenomenal.
Absolutely.
It was so refreshing, and it felt like it made me actually feel more committed, you know?
Yeah.
Like I was just like, right, yeah, we're doing this of our own choosing, and
Right.
yeah, we're all agreeing that we're making up this story and sticking to it.
Totally. Well, something that might, make you feel a little bit better about me not being there is that I've actually gone to the Unitarian Universalist church around
Yeah,
here like a few times recently. And it's funny because like they very recently started making their stuff up, right?
yeah,
With like kind of combining and gathering from all different traditions, including Buddhism, very much
yeah,
influenced from Buddhism. And I've been really enjoying it. It's really sweet. Very kind people, and who are interested in like, well, what do you have to share? Like, do you want to give a class? Like, like all
yeah,
just
yeah.
like very, very nice people. So, I am finding spiritual community,
Good.
even if it's not specifically um, within our tradition, but
Yeah,
I think it's important. Yeah.
good job.
Thanks.
I'm happy for you and proud of you. That's awesome.
Thanks.
Oh, look at that. The show's almost over and we
Oh
haven't
my
talked.
God.
Can we talk about stress for a little bit?
Let's
Stressing me
talk
out
about
that we only
stress.
have 15 minutes.
I know, I know. Well, I'm glad that we already talked a little bit about what prompted me to want to talk about this is, possible big life transition, and also just world stuff. Man,
Yeah.
global politics is just not good right now. Um, and so I'm certainly like feeling like, God, how can it get worse? But that's yeah, a little bit of dread. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
but also, what's so interesting is I'm feeling that kind of like dread of like, well, what's the other hundreds of shoes that are gonna drop, right? But I'm not panicking and I'm not like sweating over it. It's just like, okay, whatever happens, like I'm gonna meet it with what I'm already doing, Like what else can I do?
Right.
What else can I do? So, that in itself, the managing of the stress, identifying what actually is within my control is huge.
Hmm.
Um, Especially for those more kind of like, very out of my control things. Um,
Yeah, God has granted you the serenity to accept the things you cannot change.
Courage to change the things you can, wisdom to know the difference. Yes. Yeah, that is a powerful message.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And I think that when we talk about stress and managing stress, one of the especially due to change and changing times, transitions, um, there is no set of practices or philosophies or teachings that address this anywhere nearly as completely and thoroughly as Buddhism does. It is the very essential, root of what's going on, right? So dukkha, stress, right?
Mhm.
Dissatisfaction, we call it suffering sometimes, but it's stress.
Mhm.
Literally the very thing that Buddha was like, what do we do about this stress stuff? Right. And then that's what prompted the whole investigation, right? Is what do we do about this stress? And then to realizing, oh, impermanence, right? everything is constantly changing. We're grateful for that. It allows life to be, and like we're really happy that things are changing. But on the other hand, we resist it, and we push against it because we like the things we like. We like the things that we already have, right?
Yeah,
Even jobs that we don't necessarily care that much for, we're still attached to them,
for sure.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and there's just like kind of the stability and like knowing generally what one's doing for the day.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
there's so much comfort in
yes.
that, you know?
Well, we are predicting machines, right? We want predictability because that's
Right.
comfortable to us.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I guess it's, where it rubs up against the inevitable fact that things are constantly changing and will change. But yeah, yeah. Tell me, I'm wondering like when you're facing kind of like a life transition, maybe if there's an example you have recently, like what kind of things helped you move through it?
Oh, yeah, no, major life transition right now. My
Mm.
partner of 8 years, 8 years, I think it is. We're separated, splitting up, and
Oh,
that and I moved out, but I'm living next door.
oh wow,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. So
That's a
major.
that's a big deal.
Yeah, it is. It truly
Yeah,
is major, major. Um, I would say that it, initially it was met with a lot of mud,
yeah.
right? I could not see at all. I couldn't figure out what I thought or felt. I couldn't figure my way out of it. Couldn't figure out what to do next. I couldn't anything. Um, so it was really super muddy, and that's stressful. There's nothing more stressful than not being able to see when you need to be able to see, right?
Yeah.
When you
Yeah.
know situation is like serious, potentially dangerous, and you can't see, that's a bad place to be. And
Yeah.
so I just kind of stopped moving around. You know, I
Mhm.
just settled down and let it be, right? That's actually one of the advantages of impermanence is that it is going to continue to shift even if you're just sitting there, right?
Right.
And while sitting there, it did allow me to begin to investigate, like my own, like what my own life energy, my loving expression, how it was showing up in all of this, right?
Hmm.
How I felt about my partner, right? And uh, my worries and concerns about the future and all of that, right? And that feeling that you described, uh, I forget the words that you just used, but it was like an uncomfortable feeling.
Kind of
Um,
like ambivalence, like just not really
yeah,
sure if I'm,
exactly.
excited either way or
Yeah, so
yeah.
yeah, exactly. So on my end, I'm like, oh no, but I love her. And I do. Terribly. And I know she loves me, right? Like and I was like, but if we love each other, that means that we're supposed to be together till the end of our days. And then I
Yeah.
was like, but that's not true. It's possible to love people and to not be married to them.
Mhm.
Right? And it's possible to have relationships and not have it be defined in certain ways or whatever. And so like, there was this a lot of just sort of like sitting with the feelings and the fears and worries and what it all is. And that was all that was really needed, right? It
Mhm.
because it's and I continue to do it. It's not nothing's resolved, right? Like in except that I'm okay. She's okay. It's fine, right? And there's this sort of like an allowing that's happening there, right? There's this sort of just letting it be whatever it's being, not trying to force it. Because what I recognize is there is this weird sort of mental thing on my end. I guess it's not that weird. I think we all experience this of even though, so the reasons for not being together is because the causes and conditions for wanting to be together are no longer there.
Mhm.
Things have changed, right?
Mhm.
And that there's nothing like that there's a inside of me, there was this feeling of like, that it needed to stay, it needed to be this certain way because I had imagined it that way. We had
Yeah.
talked about it that way. There were still good, positive feelings. There was this feeling of like, we can salvage this and we can turn this into something, we can make it work, right?
Yeah.
And maybe there's truth to all of that. But at the same time, there was also a grasping going on there, looking for solid ground, looking for
Mhm.
stability, right? The feeling of falling and like that, like not knowing, like that uncertainty makes one, including myself, makes us look for solid ground, look for something to hang on to. And what
Mhm.
we believe is solid is what we have had in the past,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, it's a natural, I think yeah, that's just kind of like the best I could possibly do with it is it's a sort of an informal practice of that rain thing that I was telling you. We were talking about Tara Brach's method, which
Yeah.
I won't go into great detail about it, but the recognition, that's the R, acceptance, investigation, and nurturing, right? And
Mm.
I think where I am, what I'm kind of describing is it kind of goes back and forth between these things, right? But I would say the recognizing and the investigating and the acceptance part, all there. The nurturing part is the most important bit. And that one I struggle with a bit because I'm not
Mm.
used to nurturing myself and, nurturing my sort of tender inner baby self, right?
Yeah.
That's something that I've always sort of avoided and neglected and just move forward, keep going,
Yeah.
ignore, avoid, cope
For
in
sure.
whatever unhealthy way you can and just keep on moving, right? But now it's like this, it's really quite beautiful to stop and like Tara will sometimes say, like, put your hand on your heart and just
Mhm.
like, look, like feel it, you know?
Yeah.
And when I feel it, it is in fact that life, love energy that we were talking about earlier. And it has this guiding sort of feeling to it,
Yeah.
right? Where I'm like, I can hear my guru, right?
Yeah.
There's clarity that comes from just letting it all rest and listening, deeply listening inside of oneself, not to the fucking thoughts.
Yeah.
Okay, like
Right?
they're there. It's okay.
Right.
They're not bad or anything, but the thoughts, that's what I've always relied on in the past. And it's really different to rely on this something else,
Yeah.
right? And the way in which it just sort of begins to clear up and things become a little bit easier, right? That's how I handle it.
There's a real like tenderness
A real
that can
tenderness.
open up. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rather than like the defensiveness or fear, um, hardening against,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
might be painful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hardening and then telling and then blowing things out of proportion.
Right.
You know, she's this, they're that, I'm that. Nope, nope, none of that.
Yeah. Yeah. We
No.
don't need to go there. It's
We
just,
don't have to.
yeah.
Reality has enough information in it.
Yeah.
The present moment is all there, there's enough in that container that we don't have to add anything extra.
Mm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Like the information that we need is there already. We just need to be able to see it, process it.
Right. You mentioned that kind of like the free falling feeling. And I know you've said before that Choyam Trungpa quote about, that we're free falling, but turns out there's no ground. But at least there's no ground, right?
Yeah,
Um, and yeah, I think that's what's interesting is that some of the fear is that there's no ground. Some of my fear is the fact that there is no ground, and I haven't quite come to accept yet
that's
um,
right.
that
Yeah,
there's no ground. I really want ground. I really want to know what the right answer is, what the right decision is.
right.
And turns out, again, we're making it all up.
That's right.
There's no right decision. Like sometimes there's a right decision, right? But ultimately, like, yeah, I'm making it up. And
Yeah,
just, I think that, like, what you're describing, that the openness to the feeling, without getting tangled in the thoughts. Um, And uh yeah, there's just kind of that clarity that can take place, tender awareness.
That's what I'm saying is that it's
Mhm.
surprising to me that slowing down and being tender, being vulnerable is the path to
Mhm.
to figuring out the best. Yeah, sure, you're all making it up and whatever, it's going to be what it's going to be, but like making a good decision, it's more likely that you're going to make a good, solid decision that way than to
Yeah,
just be spinning up in here with
right.
all those thoughts and then being like, and I gotta, whatever, right? There's a tension in all of that, and letting all that tension subside, let it drop, calming the entire body mind complex, letting all
Right.
the mud kind of just settle a little bit. That's the way to make good decisions.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did I did see a Zen quote. Okay, I did see a Zen quote. I think that'll stick with me for a while. That was related to this. And it said, let go or be dragged.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. For
Right?
sure.
Yeah, yeah. I like that one. That was a powerful sort of imagery for me because I was like, right, yeah, totally. When I hold on and I won't let go, I just get dragged all beat up. You know what I mean? It's terrible.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's brutal.
It is. Let
Yeah.
go.
You let go.
Right? That's the thing is like look at like Lama oftentimes talks about how this continuity of life is like a river, right? Um and man, the absolute worst thing you could do is to when you're in a river is to try to like hold on, right? And like
Mm,
grab hold and like don't let go because typically you're resisting a stream that's gonna then, drown your ass,
yeah.
Whereas if you let go, maybe you can float along with it.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Hmm.
Oh, thank you, Daniel. I do feel better.
Told
I
you,
do.
told you. Yeah. I wish, maybe we should talk about it again. Like
Yeah,
I feel like there may be more.
there might be more here, huh? There's, yeah,
I think there's a
there's
lot.
definitely
I
more
think there's a
here.
lot more here. We'll have to make it a like a
Yeah,
recurring thing.
great. Okay, that sounds good to me. Is part
Yeah,
two next week?
yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
There's
All
still
right,
a lot to cover,
everybody.
I think.
We'll do part two next week.
Heck yeah.
Um, take care. If you
Yeah.
can make a donation, lionsroaddharmacenter.org, we'd very much appreciate it. But we look forward to seeing you next week.
Take care of yourself, Jack.
Thanks, Daniel. You
May
too.
may you have a stress-free or a minimally stressful week.
Yeah, same to you.